Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. It is Thursday. Great to have your company. And in the studio with me, Alan Ruff, and as ever, Tam Cowan here to digest all today's news stories, including, of course, looking at the two crucial Europa League ties involving Celtic and Rangers. Not too long until the kick-off in Rome between Lazio and Celtic. And of course, as time ticks by, it's great to have Tam in the studio still with Stephen Robinson as the Motherwell manager. It's the countdown, Tam. Are you sweating? Are you worried?
I'm particularly sweating ever since Paul Heckingbottom lost his job, because suddenly, you've got two clubs that I'm sure will be vying for him, if not Hearts, because there's a lot of expense for Hearts, not really just in bringing in Stevie Robinson and his backroom staff, but the guys that they'd have to clear out who had been installed by the Craig Levein regime. It looks on paper a wee bit simpler maybe at Hibs. A lot of folks scrambling about and making connections between Leanne Dempster being at Hibs and going for a guy from Motherwell. So yeah, it's pretty much fascinating, but I'm quite chilled about it, to be absolutely honest with you. Yeah, I mean, the guy's a good young manager. He deserves a crack at a bigger job, and I'm big enough to say that. If he went to one of these magnificent stadiums, Easter Road or Tynecastle, maybe a bit of a budget to play with, he's got between 11 and 15,000 season ticket holders wherever he goes, then it's a bigger job for a young manager, and we've all got to make a living.
Yeah, absolutely. OK, we'll talk more about the choices Leanne Dempster has and whether it's moved on any a little later in the programme, and of course what's going to happen at Tynecastle as well. So, Europa League, Celtic will be kicking off very shortly in Rome against Lazio. Lazio, Ruffy, had a good result against Inter at the weekend, so they'll be in fine fettle. Is it going to be a torrid time for Celtic there?
On the evidence of the game at Parkhead, I think it could be. I think they went away disappointed. They never took anything out of that game. Let's not take anything away from Celtic. They played well as well. But I think Neil Lennon will see this as another test of where the Celtic team is. This is a quality side at home with a really, really good record. So if they were to get, I would say, even a draw out of this one, I think you would see that as a big, big step in the right direction.
Yeah, here's Celtic manager Neil Lennon's take on tonight's game.
Well, it was a classic game. Both teams played really well. We were winners on the night, but we know how difficult the game is going to be. We know that Lazio's form, of late has been very good. They got another great win in the San Siro on Sunday. So we're under no illusions how big the job is to come here and try and get a result.
I'm not too sure there's too many going there with the expectation of Celtic coming away with a win. Only the most ardent of Celtic fans think they'll go and do something, Tam, am I right?
I think so, but Celtic have been in decent form. In some respects, you could argue it's a wee bit an all-lose situation for them. They could go there, maybe keep it tight the first half, take a wee chance maybe in the second half. But again, we were saying about recently how after talking up Ryan Jack at Rangers, Steven Gerrard immediately get the best out of him. I think in the Ross County game it followed it. I wonder if Celtic might get a wee spin off tonight for Callum McGregor, who is generally in good form anyhow. I heard Tam McManus saying in the programme the other day, I know you didn't think I watched him, but he said that he's generally always a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. My old cliche with that, Peter, always base players on when they're coming out the tunnel at Fir Partner, think, oh, Crivens, they've got so-and-so, or yeah, beauty, look at the dud they've got. Yeah. Callum McGregor always does well against Motherwell, it seems. I think he's a smashing player. What a wee boost that gives him. Celtic think he is clearly top drawer. It's, I think, an all-lose situation for Celtic as well. Nice wee insurance policy, maybe along the lines of Kieran Tierney.
Yep.
They got him in a long-term deal. I don't think it's any secret that Brendan Rodgers remains a huge fan of Callum McGregor. If he did go to Leicester City somewhere down the line, Celtic are getting weighed in big style. But for all of us here, well, certainly for me and you, Peter, who kicked a ball and could only dream about playing football professionally, unlike the man to my left. I mean, for Callum McGregor to suddenly find himself in that position, he's playing with the treble winners, his boyhood heroes. He's just signed a new 5-year deal, which also, I'll remind you, guarantees a testimonial game at Parkhead in front of his own supporters. The guy must be high as a kite. Look for a match-winning performance for him tonight.
Yeah, and even Callum McGregor reckons this one is a game without any real pressure on the visitors.
The onus will probably be more on them to come and attack, and we know how good their sort of strike force is. The midfield players backing it up as well, so we know it's going to be a tough game, and we know we're going to have to play really, really well to get something from the game, so we know it'll be a tough match.
Well, I mean, it's just a fantastic deal for him. 5 years, Callum McGregor. And again, a great deal for him. Will he be able to turn it on? Will he be able to get the result? I know Tam likes a 0-0, Ruffy, so we'll just blank him and just say to you right now.
This is they'll take it. I'm sure they would take it, but
2 singles and a double.
This is a different one for Celtic, because most of the league games they play, they're on the front foot and they're attacking.
Yeah.
This is defending now. This is, let's see another side of Celtic. Can they go to a top quality side and defend and see the game out? And that's where the test is.
Yeah.
I've got as much regard for domestic European football as I've for English football. But I noticed that result, Lazio winning away from home against Milan. How are Milan these days? Is that a big result?
That's a great result for them. I mean, very few teams do that. And when you look at the quality, I think Neil Lennon alluded to it there. The result certainly surprised me at home. I thought, Lazio really had some good players in the team, technically gifted as well. They had their chances. They could have absolutely killed off Celtic. They had a chance to go 2-0 up. Ruffy hit the post. And then Celtic, to their credit, rallied and battled back. The one downside to it all is, of course, I don't know you, Tam, whether it's Motherwell, whether it's Scotland, you like to go to an away trip and, feel safe, have a bit of fun, enjoy the area. Here's the statement from Celtic on some of the fans who've been attacked. We can confirm that 2 fans have been injured after being stabbed last night. Both are now in hospital and will receive every support from the club and the British consulate in Rome. Again, we would strongly advise supporters to closely follow all guidance issued by the club. It was just madness. I mean, just go and enjoy the restaurants,
and you know what?
Culture.
Exactly, and you don't even know who these 2 fans are. These might be 2 fans who absolutely hated the whole thing about political banners being put up, about the aggro that is built between the opposing fans, Celtic and Lazio. They could have been sitting in a bar, maybe even enjoying a soda water and lime, and then it's all kind of kicked off, and it's just kind of, it's all grotty. And you know what, I felt a wee bit sorry for the Celtic fans on the whole, because as much as the club says keep a low profile, don't hang around in groups, there is a wee bit of the base camp mentality, even when you go and watch Motherwell in Europe, it comes into play. And if the Celtic fans knew there was a big Irish bar there in the centre of Rome, of course they're going to aim for it, safety in numbers, etc, etc. In an ideal world, they would have just moved about in pairs and got into some nice wee restaurants and some wee bistros and that, but that's not the way it works. But but because they Lazio fans, I mean, every day, and certainly a lot of folk in Scotland have got their opinion on political banners and all the rest of it, but the knuckle draggers that we saw stoating about the city centre of Glasgow with the Nazi salutes and stuff a couple of weeks ago, scary guys. And I must be honest, if a similar scenario arose with Motherwell fans and whoever it was we were playing in Europe when we went through that spell, he seemingly getting the passports out every other season, I would have thought long and hard. As much as I had joy watching your team in Europe, I would have thought long and hard about even travelling. Life's too short. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the scariest place I've been in for that, Ruffy, was Belgrade, the Red Star Belgrade fans.
Bellshill? You've been there for a junior game.
It's a good point you make, Tam, but I still have to venture into Bellshill, so I'll disagree with you at the moment. Anyway, from Celtic and their plight against Lazio to Rangers at home to Porto after that great result away from home. Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi is getting ready for a packed house at Ibrox tonight.
In just over 2 hours' time, Rangers and Porto will meet here at Ibrox for the 4th match in the Europa League Group G. And with the two teams tied on 4 points, it's perfectly poised to be a special night. A draw in Portugal 2 weeks ago perhaps surprised a few, but it was no less than Rangers deserved. Porto, who were in the quarter-finals of the Champions League last season, sit second in their division and are playing reasonably well. But there is a feeling that Thursday night may not be at the top of their priority list, something that the home side will be looking to take advantage of. Steven Gerrard knows how pivotal this result could prove to be.
Winning your home games gives you a fantastic chance. This is the second one we've had. I think it'll give us a better idea after this game where we sit and what level of control we've got. If we win the game, it gives us puts us in a fantastic position with 2 games to go.
It's 3 wins on the spin for the Gers and no defeats in over a month, so their form is strong. Compile that with their first win at Hampden in 3 years, confidence will be flowing that they can do it in a big game. One of the standouts on Sunday was Ryan Kent, who must live up to his price tag on nights like these. He feels he is ready to deliver.
Recently, I think the performance has been excellent, all around the pitch. Both defensively and going forward, creating lots of chances, and I think teams are realising that now. I think even in Europe as well.
So Steven Gerrard has promised to attack from the first whistle and put on a show for the supporters. With clear improvements from last season, could tonight be the coming-of-age performance that the Ibrox faithful are desperate for and give Rangers a real chance of making it to the knockout stages?
What a chance for Rangers to put themselves really in a strong position in that group. If you have a look at the group, Ruffy, you can see winning your home games puts you in a fantastic position. Suddenly, Rangers just tucked in there behind young boys. If results go their way, they could be in a strong position again for Steven Gerrard to say, look, we're in the knockout stages.
Yeah, it'd be a massive statement. A win tonight, as I said the other day there. My main worry is they can't get that second goal in Europe. 1 goal for me isn't enough to hang on to in most of these games, because these teams are very, very good at counter-attacking, and until they get that second goal, I think it'll be a long night for the Rangers supporters.
Yeah, here's how the Europa League looks. If you are an aficionado of European football and you like your taste of Champions League and then Europa League on the Thursday nights, Lazio against Celtic is one of the British clubs involved. Wolves against Slovan Bratislava, Manchester United against Partizan Belgrade, Rangers Porto, and of course there's the scoreline: Vitoria 1, Arsenal 1. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get 2 good results for the Scottish clubs. Coming up, we'll talk about what Tam was mentioning earlier, the fortunes of Hearts and Hibs, and will their quest for a manager lead to Fir Park? We'll discuss that. Plus, of course, Steve Clarke, I think he's going to be helped, certainly, when it gets to the playoffs for Scotland to try and qualify for Euro 2020. The SPFL are going to shift some fixtures around to help Scotland, so long may that continue. But first, we've had our Hearts and our Hibs competition to try and win some great T-shirts. We've announced the winners of that. What about Celtic fans? They might like to get their hands on this away top. I caught up with Kevin Bridges at the weekend. He signed the top, and here's how you can get it.
You can win this Celtic away top signed by one of the UK's top comedians, Kevin Bridges. All you have to do is like, share, follow or subscribe to one of our PLZ Soccer social media channels.
So there you are. Good luck with the competition. We will undoubtedly, over the coming weeks, get a wee Motherwell gift as well, Tam, to get the Motherwell fans excited. I think if we can get something signed, it'll be great.
Lovely prize there, and just take out a few of the stitches and you can fashion it into a banner.
Yes.
So it's fantastic, the ideal gift for any Celtic fan.
Only you could take that on. As far as Scotland are concerned, I mentioned it there, we're going to be moving the fixtures. Is this a new era where suddenly we're just so desperate to get to the finals? We'll do anything.
Well, it should have happened already. All eyes, we've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks on this show. We've effectively been playing international friendlies for a while now. We knew we weren't going to qualify via the groups. We're in the Nations League playoff, and good on Stevie Clarke. He's looked well ahead. He's saying, right, guys, the Saturday fixtures, before we play the playoff on the Thursday, let's get them scrapped. Absolutely scrapped. And as I say, it's not just a matter of Saturday fixtures, Peter. If they don't scrap it, where this could get really tricky and really dicey is by the time they switch one of the games, invariably involving Celtic or Rangers, for the Sunday. And we may have some personnel in the Scotland squad featuring in that game. So just wipe it out there now. We shouldn't have to even have a debate over this. If the SPFL themselves just made the decision, if anybody's got the petted lip about that, then quite frankly, they're no wanting Scotland to do well as a nation. Simple as that. Yeah. Scrap the fixtures, give Stevie Clarke every chance going. That's why as well, I mean, ordinarily, Ruffy, a debate about Kieran Tierney no turning up for Scotland because his club is requesting that he stays there, in this case Arsenal. I'm not even getting my knickers in a twist about that. Normally, I don't like all these club v country rows, but Stevie Clarke knows exactly what Kieran Tierney can do. This double header that we've got coming up is again just for him to have a look at players. In fact, I would prefer that Kieran Tierney was out the way if it gives him a chance to have a look at a player, maybe even a defender, maybe even Declan Gallagher, who has still to kick a ball for Scotland. If it gives him a chance to have a look at different players while he is fashioning this side together for March, then I'm happy with that. But you've got to scrap the fixtures.
Yeah, dare I say it, Ruffy? I mean, everything, and I hate to be the killjoy in this, we just need to keep working away at getting better players, because I think you guys, we were looking earlier on about, some of the players that you played with. In those days, we'd play easily. Top players would be playing 60, 70 games without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all changed now. I can honestly, heart and hand, hold my hands up and say, like, any of the players that were in my squad in '82 would not turn up for their country. No, even if they were injured, they would always come up. They would always hope that the injury was small, that they could play. I mean, I tell you stories about them all coming up, all meeting in London after the games in London and all travelling up together. It was a joy to see them all coming up.
There was no moaning about a game that hadn't been moved.
No, there was nothing at all. They just came up and got on with it, because you have to remember, these guys were all playing with Man United and Liverpool and Chelsea and Spurs, all playing in high European games and playing in finals, so they knew what it was all about. But the be all and end all, they were Scottish supporters. I don't know. I know we're drifted away from that a wee bit, but they all love Scotland because of the tradition of the clubs before that.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to talk about other issues just before we finish. I must say, well done to Kilmarnock manager Angelo Alessio. He gets Manager of the Month because I hold my hands up. I thought he was going to get Manager of the Month. It wouldn't be in Scotland after his first month or two at Kelly.
Yep. A bit of a blow from up at Pittodrie last week, but that had already tipped into the new month.
Yes.
Aye, so,
it's a kiss of death, Tom.
No, absolutely. So, no, you're right. And you remember some of the stuff at the start of the season, it was like absolutely sweetie wives were having a heyday. How many times did the likes of ourselves get told by other guys at eyes and his way out, the board don't like him. Yeah. They realise they've botched it up. Kit Broadfoot was out really mouthing off about the guy and all the rest of it.
Threw
that at him.
So well done now.
Yeah, another thing I was going to say, Tam, before we go, you talked about the fact that everybody's closing in on Stephen Robinson. Whether he goes or not is another matter. But I just wonder about this, because if you had the choice, put yourself in his shoes, if you had the choice and both of them came calling, who would you go to? I mean, who do you think's got that bigger stature? I mean, Hearts, and Budge said, and I'll put a couple other little things, caveats in the equation here. Hearts say that they don't have money to spend in January unless it was exceptional circumstances, and he put forward a great case, the new manager. Hibs, Leanne Dempster says today that they need to make signings in the January window, but put that all in the mix and then look at it and say to yourself, let's just say it was about the same salary. Where do you go?
Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Is there a difficult call? Are they both much of a muchness?
It is a difficult call. It would need to be Stevie Robinson, having even done his homework as Motherwell manager, will know exactly who he likes and who he doesn't like in those Hearts and Hibs squads. Of that, there is absolutely no doubt. He'll have done his homework thoroughly before playing either club. And, you know, he is a young manager. He is a working man. You know, it might just boil down to whoever made him the best offer, if it did come to a straight choice. I think they know, and certainly the league table doesn't lie. In that respect, they're much of a muchness, they know, Hearts and Hibs. But I would love him to stay at Motherwell, of course. But if he did leave, then, you know, good riddance. We got humped last year this time, 7-1 by Rangers. The guy's a dud.
Brilliant that you remember just one solitary result. It was painful. But nevertheless, if he has to go, then I'm sure a lot of Motherwell fans will look back and well, with great fondness, not only at the physical team that he had, but he's switched it to a really good footballing side as well. Which is...
And Peter, you know what? We're third in the league.
Yes.
Right, we're third in the league. He's got us to 2 cup finals already. There'd be something wrong, really wrong, if he didn't get a bigger job.
Yeah, absolutely. The last word with Tam on that. Don't forget you can contact us through all our social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook Live, and of course YouTube. Thank you for subscribing in great numbers. And of course we are indebted to you, the ever increasing football family watching PLZ soccer as well. And don't forget, coming up next week we'll give you details of the launch finally of our podcast with myself, Ruffy, Tam, and some special guests along the way for you to enjoy wherever you want to listen to your podcast as well. So all that remains for me to say is fingers crossed. We are celebrating on tomorrow night's programme 2 good results for Rangers and Celtic. From Ruffy, from Tam and myself, Peter Martin, thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.